What's up guys, and welcome to a pretty different kind of video. This is the iPhone X. This is the iPhone X. But the question is, what on earth is that? So just before we get right into the video, you might know I'm giving away a brand new sealed iPhone X with a giant bunch of accessories. So if you are interested in winning that, just check out the description below. Alright, so this is the real iPhone X box, a well thought out package with lots of fine, subtle touches. So what is this? It's actually a really special $80 iPhone X clone. But the packaging here is seriously throwing me off. As you can see, it resembles an iPhone 7 Plus, but it has the camera arrangement of the iPhone X. Not to mention, this gold colour you're seeing on the packaging is not even a colour that the iPhone X is made in. The iPhone X only comes in silver and space grey. Flipping the packages over, you can see on the real one we've got this soft grey font highlighting what's in the box and a little bit more information, whereas on the fake it is a high contrast black font. The real box is also so much nicer to open. When it comes to the fake, the lid is quite a bit bigger than the body of the box, but it still doesn't open smoothly because there's a lot of friction. Interestingly, when it comes to the text on the inside of the packaging, it's actually darker on the real iPhone. The genuine iPhone X comes with that standard little white package we're used to seeing with Apple products, designed by Apple in California, and it contains an instruction manual, a SIM ejection tool, various warranty information, as well as Apple stickers. The fake one is a bit more interesting. It's actually made of paper as opposed to thick matte finish card, and only contains one sheet of paper, which is kind of like a half instruction manual, and it almost feels pre-owned. It's kind of creased already. Also, when it comes to packaging, the real iPhone X is packaged so precisely that it doesn't require any external protection. It simply comes with one little tab which you hold to pull the phone out. The fake, on the other hand, comes within a bag inside the box, which I have to say looks a little bit tacky. Now, apart from the fact that with the fake they've positioned the earphone sideways, there is another glaringly obvious difference. The fake AirPods, as you're seeing here, are packaged in exactly the same way that the real ones used to be before Apple started providing that lightning to headphone jack adapter. We've also got slightly different qualities when it comes to the cable, but to be honest, it has been quite faithfully recreated on the fake model. When we look closer a little bit later in the video, you'll start to see the differences. Now, this is the genuine silver 64GB iPhone X. To most people, a pretty good looking phone. Taking the fake out of the bag though, it looks almost identical. Not to mention, this is a copper coloured phone, and this colour doesn't even exist for the real iPhones, but it looks fantastic. As I spent my first 10 or 15 minutes with the phone, I was genuinely amazed. I kept double taking because I was just so surprised at how well this $80 fake manages to keep up with the real one. Everything from that almost plastic looking, but actually metal side, to the way the text looks at the bottom, to the way the logos line up exactly. The attention to detail here is spectacular. Even the buttons on the fake work pretty well. They feel nice to touch, and even the mute button, that toggle, works too and initiates a response on the phone. And the last thing on the body, you will notice that the real one just has a slightly higher contrast font on its rear. This is the fake cable. You can see it almost looks like it has a few marks and a bit of dirt on it. Compare that to the original one, which just has this super clean matte finish aesthetic. Unless you really study it though, I've got to say it's hard to tell the difference. It's been recreated very, very faithfully. When it comes to the earphones, as you can see, there is a little bit more of a difference between them. Once you take them out of the package, it is just as hard to tell. When I was testing them, I kept finding myself picking up the wrong pair by accident, but there are some subtle differences. The fake earphones have a slightly slimmer cable, they're a fair bit lighter, but also you can see the seams much more clearly. And don't forget, they don't sound as good either, but you will be glad to know that both of them actually come with lightning ports. That entire camera module on the rear of the phone seems to have been literally copy and pasted, the bump and all. Both of these phones can't lie flat against a surface, which is kind of irritating, but nonetheless you've got to say that imitation over there is pretty impressive. And the camera actually really wasn't very bad. Whilst I did have a bit of trouble focusing on closer objects, in terms of actual detail, the fake isn't actually that far behind. Of course, the real iPhone X wins in so many other areas too, such as the features, such as its depth capabilities, but that's a different story entirely. Now obviously when I was setting this phone up, I wasn't expecting it to be anywhere close to the real iPhone X, but for the most part, I was actually quite impressed. Taking a look at the bezels on the fake, they are only marginally larger than the ones seen on the real phone. Its screen still extends right up to where you see the notch on the real iPhone, which yes, given is not all the way, but it's still somewhat elongated. The real iPhone X running a version of iOS 11 is an unusual experience. Apple has introduced gesture-based controls, swiping to go home, swiping also initiating multitasking, and for the most part it's a super fluid and fairly intuitive experience. The fake is running off a heavily skinned version of Android made to look somewhere between iOS 10 and 11, That extra space you gain at the bottom actually turns into a home button. In terms of features, in terms of available settings, in terms of wallpapers, you're not really getting anything from iOS 11 here. Which kind of makes sense. It feels like the model I'm holding here was actually manufactured and put together before either the iPhone 8 or the iPhone 10 actually came to market. But it's pretty faithful. It actually even has the parallax effect, even if it is a little bit jittery. I think it's good that it's there. So guys, there we have it. These imitation phones are getting more and more impressive every year, to the point where a lot of people would look at both of these devices and actually say they prefer the fake in terms of its outer body at least. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to enter the giveaway by hitting the description below. I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.